Zat Hashem, today in Masechet Shabbat, we're going to learn Yud Aleph Amud Bet. We're holding towards the top of Yud Aleph Amud Bet a Tanan. Lo Yetzeh Achayet B'machato. That's what we're holding. It's about 8 or 10 lines down from the top of the page.
Yud Aleph Amud Bet?
Yud Aleph Amud Bet. Tanan Lo Yetzeh Achayet B'machato. That's where we left off yesterday. Today, Be'ezat Hashem, we're going to have 3 sections in the learning. The first section will continue discussing the machloket we had yesterday, Abaye and Rava, regarding if we make gzeira l'gzeira when it comes to hotza'ah. The second section we'll get into is a contradiction by Zav, very interesting sugya, and we'll see 3 potential answers. And the third section on Yebet Amud Aleph, we'll see there's certain cases before Shabbat we're lenient that you're allowed to go outside with, and we'll finish off with a very important halacha about that as well. So Be'ezat Hashem, let's just remember where we're holding over here so we can understand the second proof. Yesterday we left off with a machloket like this. We said, in a scenario, a person's standing in Reshut Harabim and he turns his head over his face to the Reshut HaYachid to drink, there's a gzeira, he might bring the drink back to the other Reshut, and that would be an Isur D'Oraita. Everybody agrees we make such a gzeira, you can't do that, unless it's Rosho Verubo and the other Reshut, and then we're not worried you're going to bring it back. The question is, do we make the same Gezeirah with a Carmelit? Why is it a question? Because with a Carmelit, let's say you're standing in a Carmelit, and you tilt yourself into the Reshut HaYachid, for example, or Reshut HaRabim. In such a case, at most, if you'd bring it back, it would be an Isur D'Rabanan. So the question is, do we say Gzeira l'Gzeira, in Isur D'Rabanan, on an Isur D'Rabanan, you might bring it back, which would be most in Isur D'Rabanan, or do we not say such a thing? Abaye said, we do make Gzeira l'Gzeira by Hotza'ah, by this Isur, and Rava said we're not concerned about that, which is really in general, we do have such a Shita. Rava says we don't make Gzeira l'Gzeira. So we brought one proof yesterday from V'chein Begat, we went back and forth, what is Begat? And today we're going to go on to the second proof, which is from our Mishnah. That's actually why it's quoted in this context. Okay?
Quick question.
Yeah.
Is it applicable for any type of drink or eating?
Yeah, l'chura.
Or because they say God, so it's more specific about wine?
No, that's not. No.
Maaser have to be with anything?
Maaser, so there's different levels of Maaser. There's some that are D'Oraita, some that are D'Rabanan. This is the discussion. Actually, Maaser, come in. Ma'asot in general, Rashi's Shita at least, we learned in Rosh Hashanah.
Rashi what? I'm sorry?
Rashi's Shita, we learned in Rosh Hashanah. It's by grains, grapes, and olives. Is midoraita. Vod, zeitin, grains, grapes, and olives. We learned in Rosh Hashanah, we learned Rashi's Shita, which is Ma'asot, is applicable according to Rashi by grains, grapes, and olives. But by other things would be midrabanan perhaps. But the point is, yeah, I don't think that will make a difference. Meaning,
according to Rav Yochai, asked the question about orange juice.
Yeah.
Is it also have like
sounds like the same thing to me.
Laws with chukim with hot water, cold water?
Oh no, because you don't have that issue.
So
wine specifically is hot water. It ruins it.
So how it's applicable? What happens if I drink it?
I don't want to get back. Let's hold off on this discussion. We're not going to go anywhere today. Got to really talk about it after. But let's continue.
Okay.
All right. So now let's go to the second proof. Tanan. This is our Mishnah. Tanan is about 10 lines from the top of Yud Aleph Amud Bet. Tanan. The Mishnah told us, Lo yetzeh chayat b'machato samuch lechashecha. A tailor is not allowed to go outside with his needles near Shkia on Shabbat, within a half an hour. Why? So the Mishnah had said, Shema yishkach ve'etzeh, because he might forget that he's holding it, and he'll go out on Shabbat with this. So it's a gzeira. Don't go outside before Shabbat holding your tools, because then on Shabbat itself you might carry because you'll forget you're holding it. Now, the Gemara assumes, how is he holding it? Usually, which Yochai told us yesterday, you don't hold it in your hand.
It's like this.
Right. Usually,
in your head you can see and you remember.
You're not going to hold it in your hand. The normal way for the craftsman, this is what the Gemara assumes, for the tailor. No, tailor. Yeah, Chayat is tailor. Craftsman is Uman. The normal way.
Yiddish?
No. Craftsman is English. Like a craft. A craft is a trade, a profession. So, the normal way to hold the needles, the machat, to hold them is in, let's say, is in his lapel, in his jacket. There's a place that he puts it. That's how he holds it. Now, the Gemara assumes the following. Listen good to this. To be chayav on Shabbat for hotza'ah, you have to be holding something in the normal way. Okay? So we're assuming, how is he going outside with this? In his shirt.
Like a necklace on
which is not normal way to carry. That's not a normal way to carry.
Normal way to carry.
Not normal for people to carry that way, but that's how the tailor carries. So the Gemara is saying, wait a second, that means that you're making gzera l'gzera. Because on Shabbat, if he would actually carry it that way, the Gemara assumes that would not be an Isur D'Oraita of Hotza'ah. It might be Asur Midrabanan to carry it in an abnormal way, if it's in his jacket, but it's not a normal way to carry, assumes the Gemara, so therefore you wouldn't be chayav midoraita. And yet you're saying a gzera on that gzera.
Because
you're saying you can't carry it before Shabbat, hold on, you can't carry it before Shabbat, because you might carry it like this on Shabbat, but even on Shabbat you won't be chayav midoraita. The Gemara assumes because that's not normal carrying as you would do with needles.
But it's very similar to what we learned yesterday. בוודאי שהוא ישכח את זה, זה כמו שהוא נמשך אחרי, כמו שאמרנו שאתמול, הוא ברשות הרבים, and he put his head to ברשות היחיד.
So hold on. So the point is, what Abaye is saying, you see from here a proof, we do make gzera l'gzera by hotza'ah. This is a kasha on Rava. Exactly, that's the kasha. What's that?
Is it chayav d'oraita?
No.
Why?
You
say it's not the normal way to carry.
At this point,
but he's a tailor.
What?
He's a tailor.
Correct.
This is his normal way for him.
Okay. That's a very good question. Hold off on that question. You're saying very good. The Gemara is going to have one like this later.
Okay.
For now, what we're assuming is, since that's not how people carry, even though he carries like that, that's not the derech of hotza'ah. And therefore, it would come out, if you're not allowed to carry like that, Erev Shabbat, it's a gzera and a gzera. Because on Shabbat, that would only be asur midrabanan, not d'oraita. So you see, Abaye says, the fact our Mishnah says you can't carry like that on Erev Shabbat, seems to imply we make gzera l'gzera by hotza'ah. It's a proof to Abaye, kashan Rava. Let's see that inside. Says the Gemara. My love, did chuva lo bebigdo. So the Gemara assumes, isn't this talking about where it's stuck in his garment? The needles are in his beged, where the tailors would put it, but that's not normal hotza'ah, and you see we make gzera l'gzera. So Rava says back, that's not a proof. Lo, did not get le biadeh. Maybe the tailor's walking around Erev Shabbat with it in his hands, which would be considered a normal way of hotza'ah, and therefore it's a gzera on Erev Shabbat, because if he'd carry like this on Shabbat, it would be an Isur D'Oraita. So therefore, it would be. And therefore, since it would be, exactly, this is not a Gzera l'Gzera. So therefore, it's a Gzera etu a D'Oraita, and that's why it's prohibited on Erev Shabbat. So that's not a kasha altogether. Rava says back, you're assuming that he's carrying the needles in his jacket, which would be, at most, an Isur D'Rabanan. Maybe he's holding it in his hand. That's the case of the Mishnah. And therefore, it's a gzera based on if he would do this on Shabbat, it would be an Isur D'Oraita. Since it would be an Isur D'Oraita, it's a gzera etu a D'Oraita. But you wouldn't make a gzera l'gzera.
So just because it's stuck in his garment, it might be that it's also holding in his hand?
Not might be. He is holding it. We're saying, Rav is saying that's the pshat in the Mishnah. Pshat in the Mishnah is he's holding it in his hand. Since he's holding it in his hand, this is a gzera based on an actual D'Oraita that exists. Because if he'd hold it like that, he would be chayav midoraita.
So it doesn't matter where he did. Either on his garment, either he's holding it.
It does. No, it does. If it's on his garment, Rava says there wouldn't be a gzera. That would be gzera l'gzera. We wouldn't make
because there is a shinui.
Exactly. So that would be a sur midrabanan, but Erev Shabbat there wouldn't be such a gzera.
Erev Shabbat wouldn't be such a gzera. Why? Can you?
Lo mevinin. Everyone's lost here. Guys, you got to focus. Come on. Listen good. What's the machloket Abaye and Rava? Yochai, what's the machloket Abaye and Rava?
Okay, the machloket is that Abaye...
Get clear, let's get this clear.
כן, Abaye, okay, המשנה אומרת לא יצא...
No, forget about that. Before that, we have machloket Abaye and Rava.
כן, שלא עושים גזרה מתוך גזרה. Okay.
Let's remember, we said this yesterday.
Yes, this is about the...
Omid bekarmelit, and he's leaning into Reshut HaRabim.
Okay.
Okay, so in such a case, if he drinks in the Reshut HaRabim, he might bring it back to the Karmelit. But bringing it back would only be Isur D'Rabanan. Right. So it's a machloket. Are we gozer? You're not even allowed to do that because you might bring it back to Isur D'Rabanan, which is a gzera on a gzera. Isur D'Rabanan on Isur D'Rabanan. So Abaye, you might bring it back. And the other one is, even if you do bring it back, it's only Asur Midrabanan. So Abaye says we are gozer l'gzera l'gzera. You can't do that. And Rava says no, we don't make such a gzera. he could drink in the other place, because even if he would bring it back, it would only most be an Isur D'Rabbanan. So just get that very clear. Abaye says, by Hotza'ah, we're Gozer Gzera L'Gzera. Rava says we're not. Clear? Clear.
Carmelit.
Carmelit, right? Carmelit, right? Hotza'ah, right? So, Abaye brings a proof. Listen to this proof. I want to speak it outside and we'll see it inside again. The Mishnah says a chayat, a tailor, is not allowed to go outside Erev Shabbat with his needles. With his needles. Okay? Now, first thing, since the chayatim, those tailors, used to carry it in their jacket, which we're assuming would not be an Isur D'Oraita on Shabbat. Because that's not Derech Hotza'ah for normal people. Okay, that's a very important point. Matan is right. We're going to change this later. But for now, Nahava Amina, we're assuming it's not the normal Hotza'ah of normal people. So that would not be an Isur D'Oraita on Shabbat. Might be an Isur D'Rabbanan. And the Mishnah tells us, Erev Shabbat, a chayat is not allowed to go out. We're assuming it means with the needles stuck in his jacket. So you're making on Erev Shabbat a gzeira based on something he might do later, which would only be a Isur D'Rabbanan. So you see, for Hotza'ah, we do make gzeira l'gzeira. Everybody hears the right. That's a proof to Abaye. Kasha and Rava. Because Rava, they don't make a gzeira l'gzeira for Hotza'ah. So Rava says back, no, that's not the pshat in the Mishnah. The pshat in the Mishnah is he's holding the needles in his hand. So therefore what? So that would be an Isur D'Oraita on Shabbat. That's a Gzeira based on a D'Oraita, not a Gzeira based on a D'Rabbanan. Now, does the Mishnah say that? No. But he's saying that could be the pshat in the Mishnah. I hear you, and the Gemara is going to challenge this now. But that's Rava's answer. He's saying, I'm not making Gzeira l'Gzeira in the Mishnah. This is a Gzeira based on a D'Oraita.
שהוא מחזיק את המחט ביד. וזה באמת תוצאה.
זה
דרך להוציא רוב כל העולם.
And therefore, don't take it out Erev Shabbat like this, because if you continue on Shabbat like this, it would be D'Oraita. That's what Rava is saying. Good? So therefore, it's not a kasha.
So Abaye said,
it's not, by the way, it's not mufrach. I just want to point out. The Mishnah just says, Lo yetzeh chayat b'machato. It doesn't say how.
Abaye said, יש גזירה על גזירה.
Exactly.
מה ההוכחה לזה? על ידי שהוא מדבר פה, הנה, בדרך שחיית מוציא, בדרך שזה בכל מקרה, זה לא נחשב הוצאה, כי הוא צלוש לך בזה ביד. אתה רואה מזה שזה אולי יוציא, שזה גם גזירה, שהיא רבנן, וגם זה שאולי יוציא, בערב שבת זה גם גזירה. אז מפה הבא אומר שיש זה גם גזירה. רב אומר לו, אין דבר כזה, למה? המשנה לא מדברת על אחרי שמחזיק את זה פה.
אני רק רוצה להגיד, we're only speaking about הוצאה. I just want to point that out. In general, we don't say גזירה לגזירה. This is a unique מחלוקת. Very interesting. Particular description of the
don't know.
Yeah, exactly. We don't know the rest.
But the example of the
exactly. We're focused on Hotza'ah. Bezat Hashem soon, but that's the. Okay, let's see it inside. Let's go. Bezat Hashem. So we have a lot to cover today. Let's go. Let's go over the proof again. Tanan, the Mishnah told us, Lo yitzeh chayat b'machato samuch lechashecha. The tailor cannot leave Erev Shabbat with his needles. Why? Sham yishkach ve'etzeh. That's the Mishnah. So my love, so Abaye says, isn't the case to tchuva lo bebigdo? It's in his garment, and that's only asur midrabanan, and it's gzeira l'gzeira. So lo, Rava says no, tenakit lebiyadeh, it's in his hand. So that's why there's a gzeira, because it's a gzeira. If he carries like this, which would be a normal carrying, midoraita, that's why there's a gzeira. So the Gemara says that's a great answer for our Mishnah. But let's continue on now. There's a Beraittaot that seems to support like Abaye. Because Tashma, the Beraittaot says like this. Lo yetzeh chayat b'machato, hatchuva lo bebigdo. The Beraittaot says you can't go out with the needles that are in your garment.
So how come that Abaye, רואים מכאן שאביי שואל שאלה כזאת. אם המשנה אומר בפירוש שזה לא יצא בבגדו.
לא, זה ברייתא.
זה ברייתא. Mishnah, in general, Mishnah is stronger than a Beraittaot.
רגע, איפה אומרת המשנה?
אז זה הברייתא. No.
לא יצא חייט במחתו סבו.
No. Let's get this clear. This is a different memra. This is a Beraittaot. So this Beraittaot says clearly you can't go out with the machatim tchuvim bebigdo in his garment. So the Gemara says, now you see we do make gzera l'gzera, because to go out erev Shabbat with them in your garment is a gzera based on carrying like that, which is only midrabanan. This is a strong proof to Abaye. So listen to what Rava says back. Rava says, doesn't say there that you're carrying it like that on erev Shabbat. That lo yetzeh, who says it's erev Shabbat? Maybe that's talking about on Shabbat. That's what the Beraittaot is talking about. Lo yetzeh b'Shabbat, with the needles in your garment, because taka, that's an Isur D'Rabbanan.
We said Shema Ishkach.
No, but you hear, no, it doesn't say, look at the Beraittaot. I'm not making anything up. Look at the Beraittaot.
But the Mishnah is stronger than that.
The Mishnah and the Beraittaot are two different things. Look at the Beraittaot. It says,
but you can take it from one part.
You can take what you want to do, but that's not what the Beraittaot says. Look at the Beraittaot. Lo yetzeh chayat b'machato atchuva lo bebigdo. It doesn't say anything else. So Rava is going to say back, it's not talking about erev Shabbat. It's talking about on Shabbat, and that's Isur D'Rabbanan. Of course.
I can answer him back. It's also who said it is also on Shabbat and not Shabbat.
But the point is, you can't ask a kasha on me anymore, says Rava, because it could be. It's talking about on Shabbat.
But how come you carry the machat on Shabbat? It's muktzeh, no?
That's the point. Lo yetzeh. That's what it's saying. It's saying on Shabbat you can't go out with your needles, but erev Shabbat there's no gzera like that. That's the point. Not a kasha.
But could be that he carried on Shabbat the machat on his back.
He forgot. Whatever. He made a mistake. לא יצא, he's not allowed to go out.
לא יכול להיות לבן אדם שהוא שם מפתחות של הרכב בטעות לפני שבת, בא ממקום אחר, והולך איתם בשבת, או ארנק או משהו.
It's asur to go with the needles in your garment on Shabbat. That's it. It's halacha. Fine. But it's not talking about Erev Shabbat, says Rava.
And if he go on Shabbat with the needle on his bagged b'Shabbat, is it the Rabbanan?
It's the Rabbanan.
The Rabbanan anyway.
But that's what it's saying. It's not saying Gzera l'Gzera. It's the Rabbanan. Beseder. It's Isur the Rabbanan. That's it.
It's a chizuk to Abaye.
It's no. Because it's on Shabbat. On Shabbat. Okay. Everybody agrees on Shabbat. It's at least Asur D'Rabbanan.
אז זה לא גזרה.
No, זה גזרה אחת. Right? Asur D'Rabbanan.
On Shabbat.
On
Don't just give
Shabbat.
the second gzera because לפני Shabbat.
It's Erev Shabbat. Okay, let's read that inside. So my love, says the Gemara, my love Erev Shabbat. Abaye says, isn't it talking about Erev Shabbat? And you see we make zera l'gzera. So the Gemara says, no. Kitanya hi b'Shabbat. That Beraittaot is saying you're not allowed to go on Shabbat with the needle stuck in your garment. Yeah, everybody agrees that's an Isur D'Rabbanan. Okay, great answer. The problem is we have a third Beraittaot. Now listen to this. This one is the most clear of all of them. But the Beraittaot says, Lo yetzeh chayat b'machato atchuva bebigdo be'erev Shabbat imcha shecha. So the third Beraittaot says very clear, you can't go out on erev Shabbat towards dark with the needles stuck in your garment. So let's just speak out. Now this Rava can't really get out of, because listen to the kasha now. It's erev Shabbat. And it's chuva bebigdo, which we're saying at most would be Isur D'Rabbanan. You can't go out on erev Shabbat, which is gzera l'gzera, and you see there's such an issur. This one is this you can't say it's Shabbat, you can't say it's in your hand because it's clear.
Knockout.
Basically the first Mishnah and the second Beraittaot
put it together
are connected together in the third Beraittaot.
That's exactly right. That's it. So now Rava doesn't have a teretz. So he does have a teretz. Let's see. I want to explain outside what he's about to say. He's about to say something fascinating. Mamash, you were a bit referencing this before. What are we saying here? We're saying that since normal people don't usually put the needles in their jacket, that's not considered the normal derech hotza'ah. Okay. So it's not Isur D'Oraita, it's Isur D'Rabbanan. Fine. We're going to see there is an opinion of Rabbi Yehuda who says if he's an uman, if he's a worker, a craftsman, and he holds his kelim in the way that craftsmen hold them, that umanim hold them, even if normal people don't hold them that way, that's considered derech hotza'ah. That's Rabbi Yehuda's opinion, which is very logical, right? You hear that, Matan? Let's just take this as the example.
Not considered derech hotza'ah?
It is. Meaning that's the chidush. We're going to show. Rabbi Yehuda's opinion is that if a chayat holds it in the way he normally holds
that's the normal way to him.
So for him it's normal. And that's derech hotza'ah. So on Shabbat, if he put it in his garment and carried it, what will be the halacha? He's chayav midoraita. So says Rava, that's the pshat in the third Beraittaot. It follows Rabbi Yehuda, who holds, since he's a chayat, and that's the normal way for him to hold it, so therefore it would be an Isur D'Oraita. So on Erev Shabbat, it's not Gzeira l'Gzeira, that's a Gzeira based on an Isur D'Oraita. Clear, right? That's Rava's going to say there is such an opinion.
But isn't
that
the Gzeirot are basically leading for Isurim D'Oraita?
Well, in general, that's how we look at it. But that's what he's saying here. No, so that's the point. What he's saying is that here it would be a Gzeira based on a D'Oraita, not based on a D'Rabanan. Because since he's a tailor, and that's how tailors hold it, Rabbi Yehuda's opinion, we'll see it's a machloket, Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Meir, but Rabbi Yehuda's opinion is, for him to hold it, Kederech the Chayatim, you would be Chayav.
So even if it's stuck in his garment, it's still D'Oraita.
It's still D'Oraita. And that's why on Erev Shabbat, it's not Gzeira l'Gzeira, it's Gzeira based on a D'Oraita. According to Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda is the town of the third Beraittaot. So Rava's upheld. Rava's still, he's accepted still. He answers this question.
So it's declined the opinion of Abaye.
Exactly. Well, he answers that the Beraittaot could follow Rabbi Yehuda, and it's not a question.
Because Abaye gave him the third Beraittaot,
exactly.
Which was
okay, so basically we'll take the Chayat as an example for normal people, and we'll say, in general, we cannot carry something from Reshut to Reshut, Shema lo yavo, and then it's going to rely on it, so it's going to be Gzerat Gzera. Even though it's not normal people. For Chayat is D'Oraita, but for the normal people
that's it. Since Chayat is D'Oraita, that's what we're talking about. Therefore, when you make a Gzera Erev Shabbat not to go out with this in your beged for Chayat, that's a Gzera based on a D'Oraita.
But how about the general people?
Forget about general people, we're not talking about general people right now.
So why I have to learn about Chayat if I'm not...
Oh, well, this comes up. We're going to see many examples now. Why? Hold the Shakla V'Tarya. So Rava answers, Hamani, who's the author of this Beraittaot? Rabbi Yehuda. This is Rabbi Yehuda. Damar, because Rabbi Yehuda holds, Uman derech umanuto chayav. If the Uman carries it in his way of a worker, even though other people don't carry that way, so it's not a Gzeira l'Gzeira. This is a Gzeira based on a D'Oraita.
So Rava right.
Now let's see it. So Rava answers. Titania, as the Beraittaot teaches, this machloket, it says like this. And we're going to go through a bunch of different types of workers and how they used to hold things in a non-regular way, but that's how they used to hold them. The Mefarshim speak out, the reason they would hold them this way, it was advertisement. Means they would go around, we're going to see behind their ear, in their garment, showing people, I'm a tailor, I'm a craftsman, I do these things, so people would hire them. That was the idea. But the Beraittaot is going to point out, it's a machloket, Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Yehuda. What does the Beraittaot say? Lo yitzeh chayat b'machato, atchuva lo bebigdo. On Shabbat we're talking about. A tailor cannot go out with his needles that are stuck into his garment. That's an Isur D'Oraita. Excuse me, slicha. This is Rabbi Meir's shita. He's not allowed to go out lechatchila on Shabbat with his needles in his garment. This is first Rabbi Meir's opinion. Rabbi Meir is going to say, like we were saying before. Exactly. So we're about to show is, we're going to have a machlok, and let me just speak out what we're about to do so we don't get lost. Rabbi Meir holds, not like I just said. Rabbi Meir holds, even on Shabbat, it would only be midrabanan, since most people don't carry that way, even the umanim will be patur. At least midoraita. Rabbi Yehuda is the cholek. He holds your chayav. Rabbi Meir is lenient. Yes. The Tanya is the Beraittaot says like this: Lo yetzeh chayav b'machato atchuva lo bebigdo. A tailor cannot go out on Shabbat with his needles in his garment. V'lo nagar b'kisam shebe'ozno. A carpenter, that's someone who works with wood, he's not allowed to go out with his ruler that's in behind his ear. It's like similar to people put pencils, like a librarian or a teacher.
But also,
one second, let me finish. Velo nagar bekisim sheba'ozno, not a carpenter with the ruler behind his ear. So he used to use it for measuring, for marking, wood, whatever it was.
It took me back to my childhood.
Yeah, he's not such a thing. Velo sorek b'mshicha sheba'ozno, also a comber. This is a profession, somebody that would comb.
Okay.
And he would fluff up materials or something. I didn't really understand what the whole thing was, but he had a cord that he used to use in his melacha. So he used to put it behind his ear so everybody knew he was a sorek. Velo gardi, nor a weaver. A weaver is somebody that weaves in and out. Be'ira shebe'ozno. Also, ira, behind his ear. Ira was a piece of material that they used to put, when you weave, you go in and out, in and out, in and out. Gadi is a weaver, it's called in English. Weaver. Weaver is somebody who takes the thread and he puts it through the holes. Through the holes, in and out, in and out, in and out. It's Sheti va'erev. I mean, it's yeah. So Kitzer, they take this piece of material and would put it inside of a little item that they would put the string into that they would use to weave in and out. Kitzer, it's something used in his practice, but he put it behind his ear. You know, painters, how they show you what color do you want? You know, you want to choose. So the dyers, the tzaba, is somebody that can dye clothing colors. You know, you want to have your white shirt dyed green, you go to the tzaba. So he would have also examples. He would have, what's that called? Not examples, but it's called samples, exactly. He would go around with his samples to show people. I think the art's called swatches. I don't know. Anyways, the examples, so as to show people, this is what I do. What colors would you like?
Yeah,
so he can't go
strip like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Shachor, adom, kahol, tzahor, ושם את זה פה ככה.
Shabbat zavaro, around his neck.
You can see also a doctor with stethoscope.
Exactly, same thing. Same thing. Velo shulchani bedinar shebe'ozno, a money changer. Right? The money changer used to go with a dinar behind his ear. Everybody knew that was the money changer in town. It's an interesting thing. I don't know if people doing that today. But a kitzer, Rabbi Meir says, lechatchila, they're not allowed to go out on Shabbat with these things behind their ear, on their neck, all of the things they use in their work. Ve'im yatsa, but if they did on Shabbat, patur aval asur. So it's patur because it's not asur deoraita, but it's asur midrabanan divrei Rabbi Meir. Now let's stop for a second. Why Rabbi Meir says patur aval asur?
הוא מחזיק שזה לא דרך העולם ככה.
Exactly.
Although there is the way of these אומנים ככה יוצאים, אבל בג'נרל זה לא דרך העולם.
Exactly. And therefore you're not חייב מדאורייתא unless you do כדרך העולם.
אסור אבל פטור.
Exactly.
He also spoke about it, the other sugya, like you eating from the Carmelit or whatever. So it's not the normal way that Rosho verubo inside of and he's drinking, so he's lenient about it.
Well, that Rabbi Meir?
Yes.
Oh, it's true. You're talking about the gat. Okay, good. I hear. Fine. That's Rabbi Meir, but that's not really what we're focusing on right now. Rabbi Meir holds, like we were saying before, if it's not the way of everybody, the normal people, so that's not chiyuv deoraita, even though that's the way of the uman. Okay, be clear.
Yeah.
Rabbi Yehuda says, uman derech umanuto chayav. If that's the way he carries, meaning that's his way in his profession, he is chayav because that's considered hotza'ah on Shabbat. V'shar kol adam patur. Now, if anyone else carries it like that, they will be patur. If a regular person goes with needles in his jacket, since he's not a chayat, and that's not a way for someone who's not a chayat to carry, he's going to be patur. But what we see is, Rabbi Yehuda's shita comes out that if the uman carries in the way that's usual for him to carry, chayab midoraita. So says Rava, that's the pshat in the third Beraittaot. When it says if you go out on Erev Shabbat with it bebigdo, it's asur midrabanan. Why? Because it's not gzera l'gzera. Because according to Rabbi Yehuda, if you did that on Shabbat, it's actually chayab midoraita. And Rabbi Meir, yeah, you could say that's how Abaye would learn pshat in the Beraittaot. Exactly. Hold on, we're not done yet. So now let's move on to the second section. This is really a new point, but we're going to tie back into this machloket in a minute. Now before we see this inside, I need to explain something. We know with Zav, we spoke about Zav briefly before, we're going to focus a little bit, now let's just get the idea clearly. Zav, there's two ways a man could be tameh, through a flow, through a zera coming out. It's not exactly zera, that's really why I say it loosely. Either he's Baal Keri, or it's ziva. Balkari is a man who has a normal shechvat zera emission from his body. Meaning, when a man has biyah with his wife, he has relations with his wife, he becomes Balkari. That's just normal. That's just the reality.
And how is a pure shower?
So that's what I said before. There is takanat Ezra, which was you have to go to the mikveh for Balkari. It's a big debate today if we're noheg like this or not. Some people are very machmir, some people are not. There is brought down in the Gemara and Beraittaot that idea of Tisha Kavin. That's a different story. We're not going to get into it right now because really we're not focused on that so much. Zav is where he experiences a flow, but it's not normal zera. It's a sickness basically. It's really not healthy. It's not healthy. it's almost like a disease. It's not healthy. So the halacha is as follows. If he has one episode, one flow, he's like a balkari. The same as balkari. So he's not a high-level tum'ah. He could go to the mikveh that day. It's fine. If he has two episodes, 2 times, one and then the next day again, so then what happens is, now he's a zav. He is a real zav. He has to, we learned in Megillah, that's where we learned about it. And we spoke about it before. Now he has to wait 7 days, for a woman by nida, 7 clean days, and then afterwards he goes to the mikveh. Okay, that's that. Now, if he experiences a third emission, so 1, 2, 3 days, so now he has to count 7 clean days. He also has to bring a korban on the 8th day. Okay? Good?
I don't understand how it's applied to Zav. Like, you know, if you're like if he's Baal Keri in one time, the next day is also Baal Keri.
No, that's not Keri. That's Keri. Keri is different. That's what I'm saying. Ziva and Keri is 2 different things. Keri is normal seminal discharge. It's a normal Shichvat Zera.
Okay.
Zav is a sickness.
It can come up like, you know, every hour or something.
It's sick. Even the Rishonim speak out that even the look of the zera looks different. It's not healthy. He's sick. He has a disease.
Okay.
Sick. Okay.
Okay. So
one time he's like balkari. 2 times tamei count 7 days. 3 times 7 days and bring a korban. Good. So now like this, because when somebody was a zav, there was stuff coming out of his body. They used to have, it gets a little graphic here, they used to have a kis, like a little pouch that they would put on his aver. Okay. Actually, so that it would catch the flow that's coming out and not get all of his clothes dirty.
Yes.
I mean, you have a similar idea today where you have men. It's a similar idea with people that can't control their bladders. They put some sort of a little device there to catch it. So if somebody has this sickness, he has ziva, they would put something on his aver, a little kis, a little pouch, so that it doesn't flow and get all over his clothing. It doesn't sound very pleasant, I agree. But now let's talk about this for a second. If he's wearing that on Shabbat, and he's walking outside, so what will you say? This is hotza'ah. Because this is not a normal thing that other people use. Does everybody see where we're going with this? It's not a thing most people use, but it's something. But it's something that he needs to use.
He's become like his beged.
So since it's not something that usual people use, that he is using, everybody hears that this gets into the machloket a little bit now. Is that considered hotza'ah or not?
No. You need your glasses?
No. It's different.
So let's see. See with the Uman, you see how it could be similar.
It's different. יש פה כבוד הבריות. That's give a big, if you get himself dirty outside, it's פה כבוד הבריות. הוא לא חייב.
So look at this. We have 2 Beraittaot that contradict. And we're going to try to figure this out. Let's go. Okay, we got to go. Tani Chada. So one Beraittaot teaches lo yetzeh azav bekiso. He cannot go out with his pouch. Meaning, lechatchila, he shouldn't go out. V'im yatsa patur, aval asur. So the first Beraittaot says it's not isur d'oraita, it's isur d'rabanan for him to go out with this pouch. The Tanya Yidach, and the other Beraittaot says lo yetzeh, he can't go out. V'im yatsa chayav chatat. Now chayav chatat means it's isur d'oraita. So that one Beraittaot says it's isur d'rabanan, which is not a normal way of hotza'ah seemingly. The second Beraittaot says it's isur d'oraita, which seems like it is a normal way of hotza'ah. So tell me the answer. 1 second. Chatat is b'shogeg. If you do isur d'oraita on Shabbat,
how is shogeg?
He forgot.
Is lechatchila going out?
No, he forgot. No, he stays home.
Okay.
He forgot. Tell me the answer. So it seems to be a contradiction. Is it d'oraita d'rabanan? What's the answer? No, we learned. Tell me the answer.
לפי מה שאמרנו, כל המחלוקת שזה דרך הוצאה. וזה אומרים שלא דרך הוצאה, רוב העולם לא יוצא דבר כזה.
So tell me, according to what Rava said before, what are we able to say?
It's מלכתחילה דאורייתא.
The Beraittaot that says he's patur אבל אסור would follow which opinion?
Like Rabbi Meir.
Rabbi Meir, perfect, like Rabbi Meir.
Makel.
And the Beraittaot that says you're chayav midoraita holds like Rabbi Yehuda. Now let's just speak out. Why would that be? That's exactly what Rabbi Yosef's going to say. Why? Because since most people don't wear this thing, But for people who do, this is how they wear it. Is that considered hotza'ah d'oraita or not? Rabbi Yehuda says that is considered because for him that's considered normal carrying, and Rabbi Meir says no, it's not, because since most people don't wear it like that, it's not that.
But where is the logic?
Yeah.
Where is the logic here? It's not that it's not Oman that is using it for his own business or is using it for something that is exceptional. It's something that he needs for his own use for his refuah. We're talking about because there is such a big. If I'm using my glasses in Shabbat, I carry my glasses in Shabbat, so I do ani chayav.
But it's not really a beged because you're not wearing it like you wear a shirt. This is
going to cause
a medicine. It's a refuah. It's something else. It's not
even a medicine.
It's not normal levush. This is not normal beged. You can't say that.
But I don't see. Okay. But all the people in the world wear glasses.
No, but that is levush. That's a beged. Matomer, that's a beged. That's part of your clothing.
But it's for his own flexibility, for something unique. We're not talking about something.
So he has to stay home on Shabbat. Matomer.
He cannot come to shul.
Okay, shame. What can you do?
He cannot eat.
Nebach. I understand what you're saying.
I don't believe that Chachamim will not go into the root of the issue.
If it's asur d'oraita, it's asur d'oraita.
I don't think that it's going to be the same on the same mishkal like the Oman and all these things that you mentioned.
So before we get to the kasha, let's see the answer. We're going to have 3 answers. Let's see. So Rav Yosef says no kasha. No problem. Ha Rabbi Meir. Ha Rabbi Yehuda. Let's just speak it out so we get it clear. Rabbi Meir is the Tana of the first Beraittaot. He holds, since most people don't wear this, even though he is, it's not Isur d'oraita, it can be Hotza'ah d'Rabanan. The second Beraittaot that says it's Chayav d'oraita is Rabbi Yehuda, who says since for him, that's his Hotza'ah, so he's Chayav d'oraita. Amar le Abaye, comes Abaye. Now I want to explain outside what Abaye says to Rav Yosef before we see it inside. Abaye says to Rav Yosef, you understood the machloket Rabbi Meir, Rabbi Yehuda wrong. You understood it like Rava explained it, but that's not the pshat. You're misunderstanding. What Abaye is going to say to his Rebbe, Rav Yosef, is that you have to really understand the pshat and the machloket, and then you'll see it doesn't apply. You can't say it's applicable to Zav. Let's read it. Amar le Abaye. Abaye says like this: Eimor deshamat leila Rabbi Meir. When do we say that Rabbi Meir holds your patur? When are you patur? B'midi delav hainu orchei. It's something that for him is not normal. For him is not the normal way. But b'midi dahainu orchei. But the way, even if it's only normal for him, if it's something that even just for him is normal, mishamat lei. Would he say you're patur? Listen to what Abaye is saying. Shma. Oh, how can you say this? Doesn't make sense in his shita. Listen to what Abaye says. You, Rav Yosef, Mchilat Podcha, his Rebbe, I want to explain to you the pshat in Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Meir. Rabbi Meir's opinion is, really, not only do most people hold the machat in their hands, even the chayat usually holds the machat in his hands. Even the chayat usually holds the machat in his hands. So that's why Rabbi Meir says you're patur, midoraita. Why does he say you're patur? Because Rabbi Meir holds it's not only the other Shar B'nei Adam that hold the machat in their hands, but even the chayat himself, all of these professions, they also usually hold it in their hand. And I mentioned this before. Why is it behind his ear or in his garment or whatever it is around his neck? It's advertisement. But usually, how does he hold it? Even the chayat. How does he usually hold it? In his hands.
Okay.
So therefore, when he does it around his neck or behind his ear, that's actually not normal, not only for other people, but that's also not normal for himself. That's why Rabbi Meir says you're patur. But if it would be something that's normal for himself, even if it's not normal for the rest of the world, Rabbi Meir would hold your chayav midoraita.
So if he's holding on his garment...
Abaye just flipped. That's not pshat in Rabbi Meir like Rava said, like Rabbi Yosef's trying to say. The pshat in Rabbi Meir is, the reason the chayat is patur is because he doesn't usually hold it around his neck or in his ear, all these cases. Usually he also holds these needles in his hand, this tzemer in his hand, all of these examples. he's doing something that's not normal also for himself.
Which is on his garment?
On his garment, or in his ear, or around his neck. That's why he's patur. But if it would be something that's normal for himself, i.e. in the case of zav, that's the normal thing for zav to do. For zav, of course Rabbi Meir would say you're chayav. So you can't explain the stira that way, because Rabbi Meir agrees to Rabbi Yehuda. Even if no one else wears this, but when the person's sick with this illness, that's the normal way for him to wear it. Rabbi Meir would say you're chayav midoraita. That's considered normal hotza'ah for him. You're chayav midoraita. So what Abaye just did is he knocked out two things actually. I mean, first of all, he knocked out Rabbi Yosef's pshat in the Beraittaot about zav, the two, and he also said, Rava, the way you explained.
How he knocked down the zav?
Because he said, no, Rabbi Meir would hold by zav, you should be chayav midoraita.
Tell me again, what we said about Beraittaot about the zav?
One Beraittaot, the first Beraittaot says a zav who wears this kis is going to be only chayav midorabanan. It's not derech hotza'ah. And the second Beraittaot says chayav midoraita. So Rav Yosef tried to say, the pshat is it's Rav Meir is the one who says is that when he wears it this way but others don't, you're patur, and Rav Yehuda holds chayav midoraita. But Abaye is saying that's not pshat Rav Meir. Rav Meir holds if it's the normal way for him to wear it, that's chayav midoraita. The reason by chayat you're patur is because even for him, the normal way for him to hold is in his hands. So even for him, putting it in his garment is considered a shinoi, it's considered different.
So now we even declined the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda.
So now, well, no, he didn't. Now, what happens is Rabbi Meir will agree with Rabbi Yehuda in that case of zav. Means he would really agree. Would say even if most people don't wear this kis, but if for the zav that's his normal way of wearing it, of putting it on his body, Rabbi Meir would agree. So you can't answer the stira between the Beraittaot now with Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Yehuda. So we need another answer.
So the kiss is the right for somebody to carry like that?
It's for himself. For himself, not for other people. But that's what Abaye is telling Rav Yosef is, you were trying to assume, like Rava was saying before, Rabbi Meir holds if most people don't wear it, but he does, you're patur. It's not true. Rabbi Meir holds, even if he would wear it in his, it's normal for him, you'd be chayav midaraita. You're only patur if it's not normal for him to wear it that way or to hold it that way. Since by zav, this is the normal way for him to hold, you'd be chayav, and that can't be the answer to the stira.
So Rashi mechazek that by said it was really to people to recognize and to
Exactly. That's why it's not even considered normal for him. So let's see this inside now.
business card for them.
Exactly. It was like putting up a thing on the wall.
בדרך כלל באמת, גם בשבילו מחזיק את זה בדרך כלל ביד, את הסרט ואת
המחט ואת הכניסה. So far, if the chayat is holding the needle in his hand and the zav is putting this node on his ever, basically it's the same mishkal and they both have the oraita.
No.
But if you put the needle in his garment...
Oh, in his hand, yes, in his hand. Sorry, yes.
If you put the needle in his garment...
Exactly.
Okay, it's a patur, אבל אסור, but the zav is still chayav.
According to Rabbi Meir. Rabbi Meir would agree to Rabbi Yehuda, exactly.
Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Yosef translate the Gemara according to Rabbi Yehuda.
Which the problem is that now Rabbi Yosef's answer is rejected, because now we don't know why would the other Beraittaot say you're patur. Why are you patur? So now Abaye we're gonna have to have a second answer. Let's see. So the Gemara, let's just read that again inside. Amar le Abaye, Emor de Shamat le Rabbi Meir. When do we know Rabbi Meir holds that you're patur by the case of the chayat? That's b'midi delav hainu orchei. It's only if even for him it's not normal to wear it like that. But b'midi hainu orchei mi shamat le. In the case, for example, of the zav, where even for him it is considered normal, he would hold your chayav. Of course you're going to be chayav. And I'll prove to you. Abaye says, I'll take this one step further. I'm going to show you how I know that Rabbi Meir holds if it's something that's normal for you to do. Even if others don't do it, it's not usually done that way. Rabbi Meir would hold your chayav midoraita. I'll prove it to you. How do we know that? And it's a very simple proof. Because if you don't say this, it would come out. Okay, so the case of here is like this. There's different ways the Rishonim explain this. We'll go with the simple pshat. Normally, this is the Aruch, he explains this way actually. In a person who was missing a leg, okay? Lo aleinu, he was missing a leg. So they used to have wooden legs.
Okay.
Like they have prosthetics, that's what it is, a wooden leg. And usually you would go to a professional who carves out the leg perfectly so it fits on his body and it's comfortable, etc. Yeah. But let's say the professional, the craftsman, whoever it is that carves out these legs is not available today. Okay? So what's going to happen? The guy who's missing a leg will carve out a piece of wood for himself. Now let me ask you a question. What?
No, I'm listening.
Yeah.
He's going
to carve it out for himself.
I'm thinking about the word.
Now let me ask you a question. If he would carve out that leg for himself on Shabbat, would he be chayav? He just built a kli. Is he chayav?
I guess so.
Of course he's chayav. Of course, it's not the way that it should really be done that most people would have it done. They would go to the professional.
But how can you compare?
1 second, so what's the elama what? Elama. Even if you're doing it in a way that is the way you want to do it, it's unique to you, even if it's not the normal thing that's done ba'olam, because usually you're still chayav midoraita, because you just built a kli for yourself to use.
How you can compare?
So the same thing here. As long as the chayat holds it in a way that's normal for him, or in the case of Zav, that's really the example. Even if that's not the way everybody else is doing it, of course Rabbi Meir would say you're chayav. It doesn't make a difference if other people are doing it differently. Exactly, so that's the proof. You see, asiyat kli, making a kli, would make you liable even if it's not done in the normal way. So hotza'ah is the same. Hotza'ah, you'll be chayav, as long as it's normal for you, it's something that you want, even if that's not the normal way it's done.
מעשה בכלי במחד, בזה עצמה, איך אפשר להשוות את זה?
Why not?
פה אתה לוקח משהו שהוא
piece of wood,
ועובד עליה, and make מלאכה,
Yisur D'Oraita, and then he makes a kli. But that's not a kli that usual people would make or use. So hotza'ah is the same thing. You're only chayav for hotza'ah, that's a normal hotza'ah.
אני לא מבין איך אפשר להשוות את שני הדברים.
I don't understand how you have a kasha. Listen. If hotza'ah is only when it's a normal way of carrying, right? If I walk outside in Rishut HaAbim holding something on my head that's not a normal thing to do, I'm not chayav midoraita. Why am I not chayav midoraita? This is not the derech of hotza'ah. If I walk outside, and it's not a good example because I'm in Africa, you find the chevra they put on their heads. But if I go outside and I carry something in a not normal way, I'm not chayav midoraita.
Okay.
Fine. The point is, with boneh, you could say the same thing. If I build something in a non-normal way, I shouldn't be chayav midoraita. But that's not true.
But this is normal to him.
So it must be, if you're doing it in a way that's normal for you, that's the derech for you, of course your mayor is going to say you're chayav. And since the zav, this is considered something normal for him to wear, even if this isn't normal for other people to wear, of course he's going to say you're chayav midoraita. And therefore, Rabbi Meir can't possibly hold, like you were trying to say, Rav Yosef and Rava, and Abaye therefore knocked out that answer. So we're back to the question. Now let's read that inside, and then we'll go ahead. So the Gemara says, if a normal person, not a professional, he carved out of a log, begat is a log, a piece of wood, kav, there's different pshatim here if it means a peg leg, like a wooden leg, or a kli, but on Shabbat, Rabbi Meir, hachinami delo mechayev, would you not be chayav midoraita? Of course you would be. So obviously, you can't answer like this, and we need a second answer. Elam Rav Hamnuna lo kashya. So Rav Hamnuna says, rather, there's no problem. Okay, now bear with me here, Chaver. We're almost out of time. Started a little late today. But I wanted to... No, Chaval. Kan bezav bal shtei re'iyot. This example, the second Beraittaot, where you're going to be chayav midoraita, it's a zav who already has experienced 2 flows. And kan bezav bal gimel re'iyot. The first Beraittaot that says you're patur midoraita is where you had 3 flows. Now, let me just speak that out. What's the difference? What's the difference?
Because
he has to bring that?
But third one, it's already chazaka that he's gonna...
Azma.
אז הוא חייב את זה, וידע שזה, הוא חייב
להגיד that's the point. Where he has 3 times already, we know he's already chayav in korban. We know he's already chayav in korban.
No.
So the kiss isn't helping us in any way that we need to know anything more about this guy. The point is, we can look inside the kiss and know if he had more ziva. It doesn't make a difference if he has more ziva, as far as halacha seems to go, because he already has to bring a korban if he had 3 times. But if he only experienced 2 times, we need at the kiss to know did he have another episode of ziva? Because if he did, it'll be chayav korban. So therefore, there's a benefit then in that 2 times that he's having that's important, and that's hotza'ah on Shabbat. Whereas 3 times it's not important, because anyways we know already that he's chayav korban, and he's not chayav for hotza'ah.
אם third time, אז הוא חייב בהוצאה.
So no. The point is, therefore, if he's wearing it after 2 times, that's something that's important for us to know. So that's hotza'ah, exactly. So the Gemara says,
what's the difference between the second and the third? I don't know.
למה הוצאה?
If a person only had 2 flows of ziva,
רק 7 ימים.
2, he counts 7 days. We know he's chayav to count 7 days already. But he needs to wear, this is what the Gemara is understanding, he wants to wear this kiss for a very important reason. Because he wants to know, am I going to have a 3rd flow? And then what's going to happen? It changes the halacha. Now, I have to bring a chatat. So that becomes something significant, something important, and therefore wearing that on Shabbat would be considered a hotza'ah, you're chayav.
למה? אבל כאילו, דווקא נשמע יפה, בגלל שהוא צריך את זה כדי לבדוק.
No, that's the point. Because it's something now that's not, you can't just say it's not significant. You can't say it's not chashuv. It is chashuv. And hotza'ah is something that's chashuv. That's something that's important.
אבל איפה נכנס פה העניין, the need of the person, that he need it?
Because on Shabbat it has to be melechet machshevet. There is such a concept. In order to be chayav, it has to be something important.
Why the Chacham doesn't consider there's really need, like somebody in the glasses?
Yeah, that's a different story. That's not levush. Glasses is levush. This is not levush. So the point is, if there's a practical purpose you're trying to get from this, which in this case is to determine if you're chayav korban or not, that would be hotza'ah. But if he already knows he's chayav korban, exactly. If you know you're chayav a korban already, so there's no chashivut. It's like batel. It's not significant. You're not chayav. Now, the Gemara is about to reject this, but that's the pshat the Gemara is trying to say.
But you don't have to bring 2 chatat.
No.
Lama?
No. Because it's not 3 more. No. Once he's tamei.
But let's say it's the 3rd time.
No. Because once he's tamei, it's tamei. It's already within the period of.
So you can be mechalel Shabbat.
You cannot be mechalel Shabbat. It's not.
Why? You can carry during Shabbat.
No.
If
Hold on. If he already experienced 3, he's chayav chatat already.
No.
So the point is then that kiss doesn't have any significance.
Why?
Why would it?
It's 2 different things.
Why does it have significance?
Because this one is hotza'ah and this one chayav chatat for being zav.
What?
He's being zav, right? If he's a zav, for the 3rd time it is basically have the experience, right? The experience, what do you call it?
Yeah.
You have to bring the chatat, correct? Because it's tameh.
He's already chayav, right?
This is just because of the sickness that he has.
Right.
But now, if we go outside and he's carrying with this bag, lama?
Exactly that. It doesn't have chashivut.
Because of the experience.
It's only hotza'ah.
Because he experienced 3 times or 2 times.
It's only.
העניין שהוא שם את הכיס, זה המדיד, זה הבודק אם יצא לו עוד פעם. שידע אם יצא עוד פעם, אחרי פעם שנייה, אני כבר חייב חטאת. אבל אם אני יודע שכבר יצא לו 3 פעמים, אין לכיס הזה חשיבות בכלל. למה אתה שם אותו? אתה כבר יודע שאתה חייב חטאת. כן. אתה מבין? כל העניין של הכיס...
זה לא נקרא הוצאה מדאורייתא. It's still אסור מדרבנן, but it's not הוצאה מדאורייתא.
אבל אתה מבין מה אני אומר? כאילו, הוא נושא משהו שהוא לא נורמלי לנסוע... He carries something that's not normal.
Exactly.
Why I care...
Exactly what you just said. Exactly.
But if he carries something that's not normal... Exactly what you just said,
that's why you're not chayav mid'oraita. Since he doesn't have a practical benefit and use from this, it's not normal. It's what you're putting on. It's something not normal. So it's chayav mid'orabanan, it's asur mid'orabanan, but it's not chayav mid'oraita.
But the only...
We're running out of time. I have a meeting at 11, so I mean it's already almost 10:30. I just want to finish a little bit more. Let's talk after. I just want to finish a little more. I thought we were going to get down to the page. All right. So the Gemara says like this. So the Gemara says, asks the Gemara, what's the difference you're telling me? That when he says 2 times and then he's wearing this, he's chayav. 3 times not chayav. Why? So the logic is because he wants to wear it, continue to wear it for bdika. He has to see, am I going to have another 3rd time to be chayav korban? Says the Gemara, but there's a reason also. The 3 times Zav would want to wear this. There is a reason. Why? Zav bal gimel nami mi ba'ilei l'sfira. The one who's 3 times also is wearing it for a reason. Because remember what we said, after the ziva stops, after the flow stops, what does he have to do? He has to count
אז אם יוצא עוד פעם, הוא
What
חוזר
does
לספירה.
he have to do? He has to count, it's Shiva Nekiim. He has to count 7 clean days.
No.
So there's also a benefit there knowing that I have another flow and I have to start counting again.
זה כמו אישה שראתה באמצע הספירה קצם.
So there is a tachlis. So says the Gemara, you can't tell me that's a chiluk.
חזק.
זה מה שאני לא מבין.
Okay, so good. Your kasha is the
למה יש
Gemara's
חילוק?
kasha. Okay, so it says Gemara, lo nitzricha. So the Gemara says, I'll tell you the pshat. Lebo el lebo bayom. The case would be where it's bo bayom. Listen to this. He experienced a third flow of ziva on Shabbat. On Shabbat. Okay? When do you start counting 7 days?
The next day?
You can't include Shabbat.
The next day.
So Sunday is the first day of counting.
So
lo ichbat lo, if there is a flow, not a flow, continuing on Shabbat. So now it's not important for
זה כמו אישה
Sfira.
שראתה שתי ראיות בשתי קטנים
It
באותו
doesn't
יום.
make a difference for Sfira, and therefore since it doesn't make a difference, it has no importance. Good? So now the Gemara, we're going to have to stop here.
כן, לא, עוד כמה דקות, ממש הרב. 2 דקות.
What? Yeah, no, the Chaver has to go. Yeah, what?
No, if you're on a rush, you're on a rush, you understand.
רק תדע.
I'll just tell you one question. We'll do the question and then we'll stop. We'll pick up with the question tomorrow. So the Gemara says, I don't get it. Even if you tell me it's not important for Hilchot Ziva, okay? You don't need to know how, if it was 3 already, it was Bo Bayom, for Sfira you don't need. The kasha the Gemara asks is like this. What's the reason somebody's wearing this? We already said, what's the tachlis that he's wearing? That's an important reason.
כבוד הבריות.
He doesn't want his pants to get dirty. So is that not a reason that's chashuv enough to make this hotzah midoraita?
זה מה שאמרנו מההתחלה, הרב.
That's what everybody's asking, right? That's the kasha. It's not Hilchot Ziva, fine, he doesn't need to know for Sfira, he doesn't need to know for 3. But the kasha the Gemara says is, in the end of the day, you have to know, because he doesn't want his pants to get dirty, so that's a tachlis that's very important. So why are you not chayav for carrying if that's an important reason? That's the kasha the Gemara's going to, we'll pick up with that tomorrow.
אבל זה משהו אחר אולי, קצת.
Why do you say?
נכון שיש תינוף הבגדים שזה גם חיוב, אבל...
Meaning the point is that as a tachlis, that's what we have, it is a reason, there's a purpose. So it's chashuv now. And it is, tachlis, that actually is the reason. Like medically, that's the reason. And you don't want to get dirty, you don't want to... Outside of halacha, forget about the halacha about ziva, just... So we'll pick up with that kasha tomorrow. Bezat Hashem.
חזק ובאור.
We stopped at the bottom of Yud Aleph Amud Bet. Wow. Okay, we'll pick up tomorrow. Yud Bet Amud Aleph, Chevra.
אתה מבין מה השאלה של הייתה?